What up, what up? Got another walking and talking video. So I'm going to be doing while I'm walking in the park. So at least give you guys some decent visuals. Even though once again, we're upside down because I'm a retard. Can't figure out technology, but one day at a time, all right? I appreciate y'all's patience. But today is going to be a subject that I've been thinking about a while, especially with myself, and kind of how it pertains to me. And that's kind of about, it's pretty much about lust, and kind of what you do with it, what's it for, kind of how you're supposed to interact with it in your day-to-day life, because I have a very unique, one of a kind, or very unique perspective on lust and how it pertains to me and how I kind of deal with it on a daily basis, even though it's, shows itself and manifests itself in many different ways. Because this being who I am, I have a mirror, understand how I attract people of all kinds, all different animals, I just attract people. And obviously a lot of that attraction is lust. And I try to do my best to navigate that, trying to figure out how to best have that feeling serve me in like the long term, without, kind of giving into it, because as the saying goes, lust is the death of duty. As a plane flies over, I appreciate them. So I try not to always put in my conscience to never really fully give in to lust, because I know that it was never going to help me get to my goals and become the man that I always wanted to, always going to become. I saw in my personal life what lust does to people, especially even with my own dad. I love him dearly, but I understand the reason why he never really fully kind of lived up to his full potential from like a biological sense. Obviously he did what he needed to do when he lived his life, or still living his life, so I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but just kind of off of the archetype of a man that he is, he could have achieved more for more people if he didn't give into so much of the lust that he did. I feel like I said, he didn't do anything wrong, so I ain't even mad at him. It's a very, very wicked world we live in, so I definitely understand, especially him, growing up in the late 60s, 70s, or 70s, 80s, especially being an adult in the 80s, how that was a very lustful time, and people were definitely living their best lives as they should, so I ain't even mad at them for real. But going off of that and other men in my life and my family and the people that I see, I just see a lot of people kind of get in their own way when they give in to lust. And that's kind of in a lot of spaces and a lot of how I see the world. That is kind of how people test you. It's by seeing if you truly are about something that's bigger than yourself. You wouldn't just blindly and just kind of automatically give in to lust. That wouldn't be something that would serve you long term. And that's kind of what I see on a daily basis, And for the longest time, and still now, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but not fully giving into it. But at the same time, I also feel like because I'm just completely abstaining from it, for the vast majority of my life, I've never really been in relationships or anything like that. I never really, just gave into it, truly. I just kind of stayed to myself to the best of my ability, being me, being a human, having urges and needs and all that fun stuff. I did what I kind of had to do. At the same time, I definitely tried to make sure that I kept my hand in the game, make sure that I knew that this is bigger than me, and all these things that I am kind of lusting for and yearning for will come to me at a different time. So I don't have to kind of give into the people's emotions or people's kind of words, their temptations, I should say, about what I should or shouldn't do, or how I should be carrying myself. I kind of knew that I was always doing the right thing, even though it didn't feel that way at the time, especially in my teenage years. I definitely wish I don't have any regrets. But I look back at it and be like, yeah, if I was definitely in a different situation, if I was born in a different place, same person, born in a different place, I would have definitely given into it a lot more than I actually did. But yeah, kind of going over my history with lust and attraction. I had my earliest memories, being in daycare. I had 3 girlfriends. I had one before nap time, I had one during nap time, and I had one afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a very, I learned a lot from that. What my role in the world was, and how other people, especially women, kind of react to me. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really have too much of an issue with it. All they really cared about is if they got the little bit of attention from me, even though they were the ones kind of showering me with it. But that just kind of, set me up to see the world for truly how it is, and not kind of how I want it to be, or not how people kind of want to set it up as. And it definitely gave me the clarity that I was looking for. So moving forward, I kind of took that and kind of let that guide me all the way throughout the rest of my adolescence, because even though I didn't have too many relationships after those, I knew what it was. I knew how people, like I said, mostly women, but it was everyone. I was getting that energy from most people. I never took them kind of being aggressive of me rejecting them essentially as personal. You know what I'm saying? I knew a lot of it was lust. I knew a decent amount of them truly did care about me, and those were the roughest ones to kind of let go of, because I knew, like I said, I missed a lot of connections growing up, just knowing like what I was put on this earth to do, and I just can't give into this. Even though I didn't grow up with my dad having a huge influence on me, I knew him and spent time together. My parents split when I was young, but we still went to see him. I didn't really get to see him out in the wild too much, but me being a son, me being half of him, I kind of knew what it was in a sense. So it was never really like it was never like too difficult. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really fighting demons or anything. It was definitely a challenge. It definitely had its ups and downs. It's just kind of dealing with that and kind of knowing that these options that were kind of available to me, technically I couldn't really partake in them, and it wasn't too frustrating at the same time. It was definitely, I don't even think challenge was the right word. It was definitely just it was a vibe. I guess would be a better phrase. I don't know, but moving forward, I just knew that was kind of what would be asked of me, is to kind of see the situation that I'm in and kind of assess what's going on and not live too much in the present. That's the reason why I kind of disassociated for most of my life, because my conscious presence wasn't necessarily needed for the majority of what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how to let people do what they had to do and kind of find my place in there. And it was never like a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like dealing with, the comments, dealing with people just kind of just giving you those eyes and it's like looking at you in that way. It was never really something I struggle with. It wasn't, I know, it was something I just naturally knew was going to be on the cards for me. So when I see, especially other men kind of deal or kind of struggle dealing with this, dealing with the nature, essentially. I don't even know what to call it, but struggle dealing with how the world really works and how, society says you gotta do this, that, and third, and monogamy and all that fun stuff, but just understanding how the world truly works and coming to terms with that. I never really struggled or had any problems with it, but I understand why most men do, because they don't really operate in that way. So by the time I got to, late teens, early 20s, and I started to really, explore, go out in the world, kind of get outside my comfort zone, all the lustful things and all of the, the opportunities that I had, sure, like I said, it wasn't fun kind of saying no to the vast majority of them, even though I knew in the short term, obviously, it would be beneficial. And even a decent amount of them long term, it would have definitely turned into something that would have been beneficial to everybody involved. I just knew that it wasn't in the cards for me at that time. So I don't dwell on it. I reflect, I kind of make peace with it, being like, yeah, everything happens for a reason, you know what I'm saying? There were temptations, but a lot of people, call it the women who do those things, sirens or Jezebel, or whatever word you want to use. At the end of the day, it's just nature. It's what we do, it's who we are, and it's nothing. No one did anything wrong. But the older I'm getting now, and being in my 30s, kind of understanding like what this is and being more in the present, not disassociating as much. It's definitely something that I am reflecting more on and being like, okay, I'm kind of changing my relationship with lust to where, yes, during the majority of my life, it didn't truly serve me for my purpose, right? Or for my personal goals. But at the same time, it's there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's not there just to trip you up, to make you get off your purpose or your A game. It's there to kind of teach you something about yourself, essentially. And no matter how you handle that challenge, it's for the best. It was supposed to happen. So now that I'm kind of, changing my perspective on that and it's accepting more of like what things are, that we have all these emotions, we have all these feelings for a reason, and there's no right or wrong way of doing things. I'm definitely starting to have a different, not like a change of heart, but it's a different perspective of what lust is. Because in the past, I would say a couple of years, the last few years, I have just been experiencing the most lust. Not so much in me, but from other people than I ever have in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? I said, I have a mirror, I know I'm a handsome dude, I know I'm very attractive. I get all that, right? That's never been lost to me. But just like the constant stares from women, from people. We'll stick to women, but from just people in general, like I said. It's everyone. The women constantly bending over in front of me. Like, this has never happened before in my entire life. Like I am just my energy is completely different right now than what it was when I was disassociating. So like I said, I'm being more present. I'm kind of taking inventory of what my needs and wants are. And I'm definitely putting that out there. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to use any words. We mainly communicate with energy. The energy that I'm putting out there is having all these birds flock to me, literally. The literal birds and the women. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's one of those things where it's like I gotta really kind of take inventory and be like, what is this? How does this serve me currently? You know what I'm saying? All the things that I've been working towards or going to manifest, regardless of lust, you know what I'm saying? Lust is a part of it. So there's just no point of, kind of punishing myself or punishing the people who want to be lustful with me with these restrictions that don't ultimately serve me in the long term or in the short term. But the different signs, recently I went to a food pantry, and the woman there, one of them, she bent over, she got right in my way. I said, excuse me, when I went around her, had a seat, she bent over right in front of me, showed me her ass. She, was a very, very kind, very, very, now, if you know, I ain't even gotta explain it to you. But she was that. All the women there, this is a church. We're dealing with church women, very, very spiritual, very, very disciplined women. And one of them, they're passing out stuff. She just handed me a pineapple. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I get it, especially it's summertime too. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's in heat. I definitely get it. I'm walking around, doing what I'm doing. Like I said, giving off this energy. People are definitely reacting to it. And changing my perspective of lust is the death lust is the death of duty, and I have to keep going down my purpose and keep restricting myself, because if I don't do that, then everything I've been working towards is going to collapse. And understanding that that's just not true. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and my body's doing all these things, sending off these energies, sending off these signals for a reason. I'm not trying to misdirect these people. This is very valid. This is very how much I feel. Subconsciously, the other parts of my body that I'm not consciously aware of are working for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And even the other day, walking down the street, some chick just come out of nowhere, started walking in front of me, had these shorts on, looking real good. She was tall, dark skinned, exactly my type, exactly, like to a T. Like I said, they are flocking to me. It is insane. I don't know where all these women came from in Cleveland, but I'm getting like the coldest women I've ever seen in my entire life, in my path. And I'm just walking and going about my day, because I can't. I'm still in the whole, can't worry about this. I keep going down my path. This is something I need to work on. And she got upset, that I wasn't speaking to her. It's like these how do I put this? Whenever those things happen, right? Whenever those situations happen where, a woman's put in front of me, anybody, like I said, mostly women who are put in front of me, making themselves very, very clear that they are available for whatever. And I know what's going on with me currently, what's going on with me is going to sabotage a lot of that. Whatever it is, even if it's something short term, it's going to sabotage it. Because I can't be fully open, I can't be myself, right? And put other people in danger and kind of enjoy any of that. So whenever I do see that, I keep that in mind. And that was like that's always been like the 90% of the reason why I always reject them. It's because of the situation that I'm in and coming to terms with the world that we live in. You know what I'm saying? That I want to if I want to do this, I want to give in to lust, essentially. You know what I'm saying? I have to make sure that, all my P's and Q's are taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Everything is kind of, I am in control of what happens in my kind of environment, essentially. Right, and right now, I don't have that control, so I can't really do a whole lot. But on the other side of it, I'm still sending off this energy. Like I said, it's for my benefit. I'm not entirely sure what to do with it, but all of it's for the benefit of everybody around me. So I got to do something with it, process it, and be like, okay, what is this for? What do I do with this? How do I moving forward? How do I handle these situations moving forward? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the one with the chick from yesterday, I don't regret doing what I did. I didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. At the same time, it's like, what do I do with this? This keeps happening. That was like the most forward ever of all of those. You know what I'm saying? She was like putting herself right in front of me, making sure that I saw her. It happens every single day. It's nothing new, but it's one of those things where it's like, the next time that happens, or the next time I put myself in that situation and I allow it to kind of manifest to whatever it is, am I, obviously everything's gonna work out, right? But it's like, is that something that's going to keep me down the path that I'm going? Is that something that I need to prioritize? Is that something that needs to be on the front of my mind? Not so much giving into it, but at least allowing it to manifest in the ways that it's trying to. You know what I'm saying? All these signs that are right in front of me, I kind of have to be like, okay, this is clearly something that's for me. I have to do something about it, right? I just can't kind of just have this tunnel vision. Just keep it pushing, knowing damn well this is something that I've been building for. This part of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build a community with people to just feel safe being themselves, you know what I'm saying? And like truly to stop this unnecessary suffering and just being miserable and bitter and just live life without, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of get to the point where we're just kind of over this misery and start really getting to a better place. But at the same time, how's it going? It's something that, even though whenever these things kind of occur, and I know that they aren't going to serve me right then and there, you know what I'm saying? That's not what that is, And then they're not there to help me with my plans. They don't really care about my goals. They don't care about any of that. It's something that I always kind of keep in the back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Take inventory of it and be like, this keeps happening. It keeps escalating. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's happening less. It's not like it's happening with less desirable women who are my type. This is more and more and more. Like everything happens for a reason. Nothing happens in a vacuum. It's something that, even though I'm not looking for it consciously, it keeps manifesting itself right in front of me. And it's getting to a point where, like, okay, I have to do something with this. I have to make inventory of this and be like, okay, clearly this is happening for a reason. What do I do with this information? And just go from there. You know what I'm saying? I can't just continue doing what I've been doing and expecting that just to change anything in my reality. You know what I'm saying? Definition of insanity, if you will. And I definitely don't want to live in that world. So it's like, now that I have a different relationship with lust and with, just people just want to have that connection with someone who they know that they can have a connection with, that's rare. It's something that it's been kind of racking my brain over. I don't overthink things as I normally do. I weaponize my ADHD. At the same time, it's just something that this keeps happening. I keep putting myself in these positions to have these thoughts. And even though